Ditch the socks and jocks this year. Stuff has the perfect Father's Day gifts. Top quality Aussie-made grooming and skincare to get Dad looking and feeling great with no hassles. Plus, Stuff is helping mental health too. Visit websiteofstuff.com.
Welcome to Without Bias.
Apia, the go-to insurance for retirees. Call 13 50 50. Get set, go. Local legends want it. A bowls green is just up the road. Search Bowls Club near me.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to Without Bias, our dedicated lawn bowl show, part of the Sporting Capital on SEN. We do it all for Bowls Australia. Local legends wanted. Search Bowls Clubs near me. And for Apia, proudly supporting Bowls Australia. So much to get through. Of course, we are going to focus on our triumphant Jackaroos and the phenomenal performances that we had the pleasure of seeing play out in Birmingham for the Com Games. Our Jackaroos updates, all thanks to Right at Home, the official naming rights partner of the Australian Jackaroos. We're going to go through all the results, and there is a really special story coming out of the Com Games. A very high honour has been bestowed upon one of the Jackaroos when it comes to the flag and the presentation of the Commonwealth Games flag. We'll talk more about that in just a moment as I welcome in a man who's been all across this, one of the best bowls, commentators and aficionados in the caper. Clive Adams has been good enough to come on to wrap up the Birmingham performances with us. G'day, Clive.
G'day, mate. And you summed it up beautifully. What a fantastic performance by our Jackaroos. It's been so exciting to watch them doing their thing over there at the Commonwealth Games, and can't wait to have a chat with you about it all.
So let's just quickly recap. Gold we got in the men's singles, also the women's singles. So that in itself, phenomenal. Also in the women's pairs, we got a gold medal as well. Silver medals in the parasport men's pairs, in the parasport women's pairs. We also got silver in the men's triples. What a successful campaign. All in all, 3 gold, 3 silver, 6 medals. Not only did Australia win, I suppose, the medal tally and the gold medal tally of the Commonwealth Games, but Australia won the medal tally in the lawn bowls as well. There was a real desire, Clive, to do something that had never been done in Australian bowls, and that is to win Northern Hemisphere gold. Tick, tick,
yeah,
tick.
Absolutely. Spot on. And I think... we all were hopeful, but I think we were tempering that hope with the fact that it's really been difficult for Australia to do well in those conditions before. So I think the preparation was the best we've ever seen, and it made us think, special things could happen, and special things did happen, and it was so wonderful to see players rewarded for the wonderful effort they've put in. And when we talk about, Ellen Ryan and Christina Christic, which I'm sure we will just shortly, but, they've been banging on the door of that top echelon to have a crack. They get to go over there and do it together, and the results were just amazing.
So our second best medal haul at a Com Games, but our best performance abroad. All the Jackaroos in transit from Birmingham. They'll get a well-earned break at home. But it's great to have Bowls Australia's Clive Adams with us, and we'll dissect it all. And there's a bit to look forward to with the Australian Indoor Championships as well. Why don't we start with the first big moment of the Com Games, that first gold, that first Northern Hemisphere gold. Ellen Ryan, historic win in the women's singles. That decider, what made it so special to you, Clive?
Yeah, look, we've never had the gold medal in our hands for the Australian women's singles event. An Australian in the women's single event at the Commonwealth Games. So, the expectation on Ellen was high, and she went through the qualifying rounds pretty well. She had one little hiccup there against Lucy Beer from Guernsey, and then finds herself in the gold medal match up against Lucy and down 10-2. So 21 up format, down 10-2, having lost to Lucy earlier in the tournament. There's every reason to think that her confidence might have been down. And I think having the experience of a Karen Murphy alongside her was key in keeping Ellen's confidence up, and she worked her way back into the match. And just those last few ends were very tight and very nerve-wracking. But to get the win and set at that stage, that's the first gold medal Australia had won on UK soil in a Commonwealth Games. It was special moments all round, and what a fantastic performance for Ellen. And you just look at the work that's gone into that. It's a story of perseverance. It's a story of concentration, and it's just a wonderful story of getting the job done when it really matters in a gold medal match.
It's certainly, there could have been a number of our women who would have been in line to get that spot, to be selected to represent us in the singles. It was a highly fought out position, and what that makes it probably even more special, I would imagine.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And that women's side in particular has been so successful over the last decade. Their world championships, their world titles that all of them have achieved world titles. So breaking into that squad and getting the opportunity, then delivering in this style on the absolute biggest stage for our sport. Ellen Ryan, take a bow. Fantastic performance.
Not only delivered in the singles, but then backed it up to deliver our second gold in the pairs with Christina Christic. You're a parochial Western Australian. This was a thriller. Extra end. One of your favourite players involved as well. Just relive a bit of that for us. What a win against England too.
Look, what a magnificent game of bowls this was. Most people that are watching this have said it's one of the best games of bowls they've ever seen. And 18 ends scheduled. 18 ends wasn't enough to split these two, Australia versus England. 18 ends, and they finished 18 all. So they had to go to an extra end. It was high pressure stuff as Amy Farrow took out one of Australia's closest bowls to make that 18 all result. And then we get to an extra end, and the fairy tale finish. Two absolute great mates, two of the best of friends that have worked their way into the team. It goes down to an extra end, and it comes down to the very last bowl. Ellen Ryan steps up and clips out the England closest bowl to take the title. And honestly, the celebrations break loose. Hugs, jumping all over the place, fantastic stuff, climbing into the stands to celebrate. And yeah, look, I will admit to it being a little bit special, having been involved with Christina and seeing her grow up and grow through the sport. So to see the two of those great young ladies in our sport get that result, there weren't too many dry eyes around, I reckon.
Speaking of celebrations, I think it'd be hard to top the man who won our next gold, our third gold, Aaron Wilson, who backed up his heroics at the Gold Coast in 2018 to claim gold against Gary Kelly, who resides for the most part in Australia now, if I'm not mistaken. And his bowls resume is that is the equal, if not the better of any, over his illustrious career. Phenomenal performance from Aaron Wilson. Used to bowl in Bendigo as well, so I've got a soft spot for him. He was just brilliant.
He certainly was. Back-to-back winner, and the first time that's been done since David Bryant, who, a lot of people, if you talk about the best players ever to play the sport, David Bryant's name really comes up. He won 4 in a row, believe it or not. 1962, 1970, 1974 and 1978. And before you say I missed one there was no bowls played in 1966. So many would argue that he missed out on another one there. But so Aaron Wilson goes into the amazing echelon of player that can go back-to-back and win a singles. But just listen to his scores throughout the tournament, because no one really got close. If you look at his scores, 21-9, 21-13, 21-7, 21-9, then a 21-16 win. That's the closest anyone got against Jamie Walker from England. And then he followed it up with 21-9 over Ian McLean playing singles for Scotland, and finished it off with the most clinical display you're ever going to see, with a 21-3 victory over Gary Kelly. Who could have picked?
No.
You would have picked Aaron as the favourite, but not at 21-3 against the quality of Gary Kelly.
No, not at all. And then the shirt-off celebration, as he did on the Gold Coast, that went viral around the world. So it was another special moment with a campaign for the Jackaroos at Birmingham that had a lot of them for Right at Home, the official naming rights partner of the Australian Jackaroos. Right in the hunt for the games that we claim silver in. And I wanted to start with the men's triples. So the scoreline in the end, 14-12, in favour of England on their home deck, if you like. But what we need to understand about that is, you tell me what England were when Australia still hadn't registered a solitary.
Yeah, so it was 8-0, and then it got to 12-1. And at 12-1, you're sort of saying, gee, can Australia really challenge here? Tactically, they made some key decisions. They slowed the game down, and that was the first thing. So they had a Louis rideout that was playing sensational for England against them in the lead spot. We saw Barry really slow the game down, really take his time to deliver his bowl. There's only so many things you can do to change the momentum of a game of bowls, and slowing that game down a little bit, suddenly Louis wasn't quite on the jack as much, and we saw a remarkable fight back. We saw 12-all, and it was just those last couple of ends that just didn't quite go the way of our men's triple side, Barry Lester, Carl Healy and Ben Twist. They just needed a little bit of fortune in those last couple of ends, and so many games of bowls come down to those last couple of ends and needing things to go your way. But a silver medal is still a fantastic achievement in those conditions.
And in our men's pairs, the B6 to 8, and the women's pairs B6 to B8 in the para bowls. Australia, Damien Delgado and Chris Flavel, they got silver. Gary Brown and Kevin Wallace of Scotland defeating them in the final, and also to Serena Bonnell and Cheryl Linfield at silver in the women's parasport pairs as well.
Yeah, Scotland didn't do us any favours in the para disciplines, because Scotland won all of the para disciplines actually, and we'll get to that in a minute. But look, when we consider that all four of these players were making their first appearances at a Commonwealth Games, to come away with a silver medal is a fantastic achievement. There is no doubt about it. Both of those matches followed a similar path. They were tight early, and then Scotland were able to put the foot down and just move away in the latter stages of the matches. But yeah, wonderful performance, and great people involved in those teams, and wonderful to see them come away with literally some silverware.
Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations to all of our bowlers who participated and represented their country in such a manner. They all did us incredibly proud, as they always do. To the coaches, they left no stone unturned, Clive, in the preparation either. So I think a lot of credit for the performance has to go to Gary Willis, the coach, Karen Murphy, the assistant coach. They really did make sure they did everything they could with the camp over to the UK a few weeks out, then getting the Mount Tambourine Bowls Club set up to mimic or mirror as best possible the greens they were going to face in Birmingham. They really did do everything they could to make sure we had the successful campaign that we did achieve in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't come down to luck. There's so much work that goes in, and we saw the results that were the result of all that hard work. And I think we can be very, very proud of our Jackaroos performance in conditions that we've never seen that performance before. 24
nations participated. We won the medal tally, 6 gold, 3 silver. Congratulations to our Jackaroos. And before we head to the break, what about this? He's a bit of the rock star, even at 40 years of age, or 40 years young now, is Barry Lester. But a remarkable honour that was bestowed upon him. Born in Bendigo, I've always got a soft spot for Baz. He's a bloody good human as well. Grew up in Wedderburn. At the closing ceremony, he was actually handed and had the honour of receiving the Commonwealth Games Federation flag on behalf of Victoria, because they will host the 2026 Commonwealth Games. He's a 3-time Commonwealth Games representative, 4 Commonwealth Games medals, including silver in the triples, but he was silver in 2018, bronze in 2006. That's a very, very high honour. He
represents Australia. In fact, he represents the sport of bowls with tremendous pride and tremendous honour, does Barry. He's a wonderful marketer of our sport. He talks bowls up at every opportunity he gets, and for him to have that wonderful honour, I mean, how special does it get? You know, it's not only a Commonwealth Games, but the home link as well. It just doesn't get any more special than that. What a wonderful honour for him to have.
Absolutely. Comprehensive as it gets. Clive, stick around. We're going to do a quick preview of another big event that's just around the corner as well. The Australian Indoor Championships are almost upon us. Clive Adams, our special guest on Without Bias. We do it all for Bowls Australia. Local Legends Wanted. Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls Clubs near me. And for APIA, the go-to insurance for retirees.
This is Without Bias.
APIA, the go-to insurance for retirees. Call 135050. Get set, go. Local Legends Wanted. A Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls Club near me.
Clive Adams, a very special guest on Without Bias, dedicated lawn bowl show, part of the Sporting Capital on SEN. Clive, we've in great detail gone through the phenomenal performance of our Jackaroos at the Com Games in Birmingham, but there is a big event just around the corner, the Australian Indoor Championships. It's doubled in size, the combined 2021-2022 field, 64 men, 64 women, plenty of stars in that field. This is a great tournament.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's one that a lot of people look forward to, this one, and obviously there was the disappointment last year of not being able to stage the event thanks to good old COVID. So what that's presented us with is a mega Australian indoors this year, and I tell you what, when we start looking through the field, there are some incredible players that are going to be taking to the green up there at Tweed Heads next week. So. We start looking through some of the wonderful players. Of course, we've got Robert Briglier and Jen Delves that finally get their opportunity to defend their title from 2019, actually. So it's been a little while since we've had this event. But, we start looking through the field. Plenty of our Jackaroos are going to be in action, with Ben Twist, Corey Wedlock, Aaron Wilson, Aaron Tees, Aaron Sheriff. So we've got all the Aarons, which is great. Matty Flapper will be there. Dylan Fisher back on the scene, which is great to see. And then we have a look through the women's field, and Natasha Van Eldik, Bolivia Millerick, one of our Australian champions at the moment, Jessie Cattell, who made the big mark at the BPL, coming in as a replacement player. Kelsey Cottrell's there, Chloe Stewart. The names, Ellen Faulkner, Lindsay Clark, Dawn Heyman, it is a ridiculous field. It really is.
It certainly is. It's going to be at Club Tweed, of course. The live streaming is going to be available on the Bowls Australia Facebook page as well. That's every session, all the finals. And then Fox Sports will televise the coverage and broadcast it the following week. So that's great exposure again for lawn bowls, which just continues to go strength to strength. Just off the back of what's been achieved at Birmingham, what kind of effect, Clive, do you think that then has on the follow-up tournament? So the bowls will be a buzz, won't it? I mean, the vibe around this will be at fever pitch.
Yeah, certainly. There's no doubt about it. And it's going to be a challenge for some of our Jackaroos coming back from the slow greens over there at Birmingham to now come back, and initially they're going to find it hard to get their bowls to stop. It's just the way it is. You get into that rhythm of hurling bowls, and trying to get them to pull up on that beautiful Tweed surface is going to be a challenge for them. But no, I think everyone's really enjoyed the coverage that they've had from Birmingham, and now it's not a very long wait before they get an entire week of Australian indoors. I mean, the first 2 days are massive. I think we'll be streaming from 8 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night for the first 2 days. So the voice is going to be interesting to see how that holds out in terms of the commentary. But can't wait for this one. And the beautiful thing about the Australian indoors is, you take some of the vagaries out with the conditions, and what you end up with is such high quality bowls because. It goes up a notch with the ability to draw so close so often. It's sort of an easier game in a sense because it's indoors, but it gets harder because everyone's so good.
Increased prize money purse, $48,000 up for grab. Competition's going to be fierce. We don't have much time left, Clive, but just a couple of favourites going in.
Yeah, well, look, it's hard to pick. It is really hard to pick with such a quality field. I mean, we've seen, Aaron Tees is a champion from just a few years ago. We won't worry about who he beat in the final because that was an unfortunate me. But that's the way that goes. But look, I think he's always very, very hard to beat. And I think probably from a women's perspective, I'll go with Kelsey Cottrell. Very, very hard to beat in singles competition, but look, with such a quality field, your guess is as good as mine, which is a wonderful way to go into a tournament, really, with so much quality there that it's very hard to pick a winner.
Certainly is. That's it from us on Without Bias for another week. Local Legends Wanted at Bowls Green is just up the road. Search Bowls Clubs near me. And for APIA, the go-to insurance for retirees. The indoors all starts Monday at Club Tweed. Check it out on the Bowls Australia Facebook page. Until next week, enjoy and get out there and have a roll. There's a Bowls Green just up the road from you.